The Galactic Kingdom was a vast, powerful civilization that spanned across countless star systems. Led by the mighty Emperor and his elite military commanders, the kingdom commanded an advanced technological arsenal and a massive army of loyal soldiers. They viewed themselves as the rightful rulers of the galaxy, destined to bring order and prosperity to all worlds under their dominion. In the eyes of the Galactic Kingdom, there were no equals, only subjects to be controlled and resources to be exploited. And among all the inferior civilizations that dotted the cosmos, none were as insignificant and pitiful as the tiny planet called Earth. From the lofty heights of the galactic capital, the Emperor and his advisors would often gaze upon the blue and green marble, dismissing its people as primitive, uncivilized beings unworthy of their notice. The Earthlings, with their quaint nation-states, rudimentary technology, and constant wars, were deemed a laughable speck in the grand tapestry of the Galactic Kingdom's dominion. Those simple-minded creatures on that backwater planet, the Emperor would scoff. What possible threat could they pose to our might? His generals would nod in agreement, already drafting plans for a small token invasion of Earth, a mere formality to solidify the kingdom's control over the insignificant world. The decision to attack Earth was made with little fanfare or concern. It was seen as an effortless exercise, a chance for the kingdom's forces to flex their martial prowess and demonstrate the futility of any resistance against the unstoppable juggernaut of the Galactic Empire. Leading the invasion force was General Psyloph, a seasoned commander with a long list of victories under his belt. He handpicked his best troops, outfitted them with the latest in galactic technology, and set course for the modest little planet, confident that the campaign would be over in a matter of weeks. Those Earthlings won't even know what hit them. Psyloph boasted to his officers as their sleek warships entered the Sol system. By the time we're done, they'll be begging to become loyal subjects of the Galactic Kingdom. The initial landings on Earth's surface were met with little resistance, as the galactic forces swept through the confused and disorganized human militaries with ease. General Psyloph watched with a smug satisfaction as his troops raised the banner of the Galactic Kingdom over the major cities, signaling the planet's formal annexation. However, the Empire's arrogance and complacency would soon be shattered, as the Earthlings proved to be far more resilient and resourceful than the Galactic Kingdom had ever anticipated. What started as a swift and effortless conquest quickly devolved into a grinding campaign of attrition, as the human soldiers displayed a tenacity and ingenuity that caught the invaders off guard. They employed creative tactics, leveraged the terrain to their advantage, and demonstrated an unwavering determination to defend their homeworld at all costs. General Psyloph, once so certain of his victory, found his forces bogged down in a seemingly endless series of skirmishes and battles. His advanced technology and numerical superiority were repeatedly challenged by the Earthlings' resourcefulness and adaptability. Frustrated and perplexed, the general sent frantic reports back to the galactic capital, pleading for reinforcements and a change in strategy. The Emperor, once so dismissive of the pitiful Earthlings, now sat with a deepening frown, his confidence in a quick and easy triumph rapidly eroding. It became clear to the Galactic Kingdom's leadership that the invasion of Earth was not going as planned. The backwater planet and its stubborn inhabitants refused to submit to the might of the Empire, shattering the arrogant assumption that the Earthlings posed no real threat. As the conflict dragged on, the Galactic Kingdom was forced to confront a startling realization. The pitiful planet they had so casually written off might just possess the tenacity and fighting spirit to stand up to the greatest military power in the known galaxy. As the mighty warships of the Galactic Kingdom descended upon the unsuspecting planet Earth, the Earthlings watched with a mix of fear and defiance. The technologically advanced invaders, led by the arrogant General Psyloph, expected an easy victory against the primitive human civilization. However, the Galactic Kingdom's forces were in for a rude awakening. When the first wave of heavily armed troops landed on the planet's surface, they were met with an unexpected and fiery resistance from the human military. Instead of crumbling under the might of the galactic onslaught, The Earthlings fought back with a determination that caught the invaders off guard. The human soldiers, equipped with outdated but well-maintained weapons, displayed a level of tactics and coordination that the Galactic forces had not anticipated. They utilized the diverse terrain of their homeworld to their advantage, laying ambushes, conducting hit-and-run attacks, and employing unorthodox battlefield maneuvers that disrupted the invaders' plans. General Psylocke, accustomed to facing opponents who simply buckled under the sheer firepower of the Galactic Kingdom, found himself increasingly frustrated by the resilience and adaptability of the Earthlings. His troops, despite their superior technology and numbers, struggled to gain a decisive foothold on the planet. "Impossible," the general growled, watching helplessly as his forces were pushed back by the tenacious human defenders. "These Earthlings should be cowering before our might, not fighting back with such ferocity." As the initial invasion force suffered heavy casualties, the Galactic Kingdom's commanders back on the capital planet were stunned by the reports filtering in from the front lines. The pitiful Earthlings, whom they had so casually dismissed, were now proving to be a far more formidable adversary than anyone had expected. The Emperor himself, once so confident in the inevitability of victory, now furrowed his brow with a growing sense of unease. The arrogance that had led him to underestimate the Earthlings was quickly turning to a grudging respect for their unexpected resilience. "Send in more troops," the Emperor commanded, his voice tinged with a rare hint of uncertainty. "We cannot allow this backwater planet to defy the might of the Galactic Kingdom." General Psylocke, his pride wounded, rallied a larger and even more heavily armed force, determined to break the human resistance once and for all. The second wave of the invasion descended upon Earth, raining down destruction with their advanced weaponry and overwhelming numbers. Yet, to the Galactic force's astonishment, the Earthlings continued to fight back with unflagging courage and ingenuity. They adapted their tactics, taking advantage of every weakness in the invaders' strategies, and refused to be cowed by the sheer force of the Galactic onslaught. In the fiercest battles seen on the planet in centuries, the human soldiers demonstrated a willingness to make great sacrifices to defend their homeworld. They fought with a ferocity that belied their technological disadvantage, placing their bodies between the Galactic Kingdom's advance and the cities and towns they sought to protect. General Psylocke, his frustration mounting, could scarcely believe what he was witnessing. The primitive Earthlings were not only holding their ground, but inflicting significant casualties on his supposedly superior troops. The tide of the invasion had turned, and the general found himself facing the very real prospect of failure. Desperate reports once again reached the Galactic capital, this time painted with a growing sense of alarm. The Emperor, his confidence shaken, could no longer dismiss the Earthlings as weak and insignificant. The pitiful planet and its tenacious inhabitants had proven to be a far more formidable adversary than anyone in the Galactic Kingdom had ever imagined. As the battle for Earth raged on, the Galactic forces found themselves confronted with a sobering reality. The Earthlings, with their unwavering spirit and remarkable adaptability, were not going to surrender their freedom and independence without an epic struggle. The invasion, which had begun with such arrogant certainty, was now at risk of becoming a protracted and costly campaign. The Galactic Kingdom, once so sure of its dominance, now faced the unsettling prospect of having underestimated the true strength and resilience of the pitiful planet they had sought to conquer. The Galactic Kingdom's forces, led by the frustrated General Psylocke, regrouped and prepared to unleash the full might of their military might upon the stubborn planet Earth. Determined to crush the unexpected resistance of the primitive Earthlings, the invaders assembled an even larger and more powerful invasion force. With advanced weaponry, armored vehicles, and legions of battle-hardened soldiers, the Galactic Kingdom's new campaign was designed to overwhelm the human defenses and bring the planet to its knees. The Emperor himself, his confidence bolstered by the sheer size and firepower of the renewed assault, was certain that the Earthlings would be unable to withstand the onslaught. "This time, there will be no escape for those pitiful creatures," the Emperor declared, his eyes narrowing with a sense of vengeful anticipation. Our forces will utterly destroy any resistance and make them submit to the glory of the Galactic Kingdom. As the galactic warships descended upon Earth once more, the human military braced itself for the inevitable onslaught. However, the Earthlings, having witnessed the tenacity and resourcefulness of their own forces in the previous battles, were determined not to go down without a fight. The moment the galactic troops set foot on the planet's surface, they were met with a firestorm of resistance. The human soldiers, having learned from their earlier encounters, had prepared a series of carefully orchestrated ambushes and traps that decimated the invading forces. General Psylocke, his confidence shaken, watched in dismay as his armored columns were systematically dismantled by the Earthlings' guerrilla tactics. The Galactic Kingdom's superior technology and numerical advantage proved to be of little use against the humans' adaptability and intimate knowledge of their own terrain. "How can this be?" the general growled, his knuckles whitening as he gripped the command console. "Our weapons should be cutting them down like blades through grass." But the Earthlings refused to be cowed. They fought with a ferocity that belied their comparatively primitive equipment, using their ingenuity to nullify the galactic force's technological edge. Whether it was hijacking and repurposing the invaders' own weaponry or deploying ingenious traps and ambushes, the human soldiers demonstrated a level of resourcefulness that caught the Galactic Kingdom's commanders off guard. As the battle raged on, the Earthlings proved themselves to be adept at exploiting the weaknesses and overconfidence of their opponents. They anticipated the Galactic Kingdom's strategies, maneuvering their forces to neutralize the invaders' advantages and turn the tide of the conflict. The Emperor, watching the unfolding events with growing alarm, was forced to confront a reality that shattered his long-held assumptions. The pitiful Earthlings, whom he had so casually dismissed, were proving to be a formidable adversary, one that refused to succumb to the might of the Galactic Kingdom. Desperate communications from General Psylocke painted a grim picture. The invasion force, once thought to be unstoppable, was being whittled down by the human defenders. The general pleaded for reinforcements and a change in tactics, his frustration and disbelief evident in every word. The Emperor, unaccustomed to such setbacks, found himself wrestling with a growing sense of unease. The arrogance that had once fueled his confidence in an easy victory was now being replaced by a grudging respect for the Earthlings' resilience and determination. "How can these primitive creatures continue to defy us?" the Emperor muttered, his brow furrowed in contemplation. "Their will to fight is stronger than we anticipated." As the conflict dragged on, the Galactic Kingdom's military commanders were forced to reevaluate their strategies and tactics. The Earthlings' ability to adapt, innovate, and overcome the invaders' technological advantages became a source of profound consternation and disbelief. The once certain triumph of the Galactic Kingdom was now threatened by the very pitiful civilization it had sought to subdue. The Earthlings, through sheer grit and resourcefulness, had managed to withstand the full might of the invading forces, shattering the arrogant assumptions that had underpinned the invasion. The Galactic Kingdom, a civilization accustomed to the inevitability of its own dominance, now found itself facing an unexpected and humbling reality. The weak Earthlings were anything but, and their determination to defend their homeworld had the power to challenge the very foundations of the Galactic Empire's might. As the war between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom raged on, the fate of the blue and green planet hung in the balance. The Earthlings, having proven their unexpected resilience and fighting spirit, were determined to defend their home at all costs, while the galactic forces were equally resolute in bringing the pitiful planet to heel. The battles that erupted across the surface of Earth were unlike anything the Galactic Kingdom's troops had ever experienced. The human soldiers, fueled by a fierce patriotism and a deep-rooted desire for freedom, refused to back down in the face of the invaders' superior technology and numbers. General Psylocke, his confidence shattered by the repeated setbacks, found himself increasingly frustrated and perplexed by the Earthlings' tactics. The human defenders would strike swiftly and then melt away into the terrain, only to reappear elsewhere to launch another devastating attack. "This cannot be," the general growled, slamming his fist against the command console. "Our weapons should be tearing them apart, yet they continue to evade and outmaneuver us." The Galactic Kingdom's forces, accustomed to facing opponents who crumbled under the weight of their firepower, struggled to adapt to the Earthlings' unconventional approach to warfare. The human soldiers, drawing upon their intimate knowledge of their homeworld, exploited every weakness and vulnerability in the invaders' strategies. Whether it was ambushing supply convoys, sabotaging key infrastructure, or launching surprise attacks on the Galactic troops' command centers, the Earthlings demonstrated an uncanny ability to keep their adversaries off balance and on the defensive. The Emperor, watching the conflict unfold from the distant Galactic capital, found his confidence waning with each passing day. The reports from General Psylov painted a bleak picture, with the invading forces sustaining heavy casualties and failing to make significant gains despite their technological superiority. "This is unacceptable," the Emperor raged, his fury barely contained. "The Earthlings should be groveling before us, not defying our might at every turn." Desperate to turn the tide of the battle, the Galactic Kingdom dispatched wave after wave of reinforcements, each one more heavily armed and equipped than the last. But no matter how many troops they sent, the Earthlings continued to find ways to blunt the invaders' advances and inflict devastating losses. The human military commanders, recognizing the dire stakes of the conflict, employed every tactic and strategy at their disposal to safeguard their homeworld. They rallied the civilian population, harnessing their collective determination and ingenuity to support the war effort. From ingenious weapon modifications to the construction of makeshift fortifications, the Earthlings demonstrated a level of adaptability and resourcefulness that confounded the Galactic Kingdom's forces. The invaders, accustomed to facing opponents who crumbled under the sheer weight of their technological superiority, found themselves increasingly outmaneuvered and outmatched. As the battle raged on, the Galactic Kingdom's grip on the planet began to slip. The Earthlings, fighting with an unbreakable spirit, refused to surrender their freedom and independence, no matter the cost. The once certain victory of the Galactic Empire was now hanging by a thread, as the pitiful planet they had so casually dismissed proved to be a formidable adversary. The Emperor, his brow furrowed with a mixture of disbelief and growing respect, watched the conflict unfold with a mounting sense of unease. The arrogance that had once fueled his confidence in the Galactic Kingdom's dominance was now being replaced by a grudging acknowledgement of the Earthlings' strength and determination. "How can these simple-minded creatures continue to defy us?" the Emperor muttered, his voice tinged with a rare note of uncertainty. "Their will to fight is unbreakable. We must find a way to break their spirit, or this war may be lost." As the battle for the fate of Earth reached its climax, the Galactic Kingdom found itself confronted with a sobering reality. The pitiful planet and its resilient inhabitants were refusing to surrender, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The Earthlings' unwavering defense had the power to challenge the very foundations of the Galactic Empire's might, leaving the invaders grappling with an unexpected and humbling truth. As the brutal conflict between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom raged on, both sides began to make startling discoveries about the other. The Galactic forces, once so certain of their superiority, found themselves confronted with the realization that the pitiful Earthlings possessed hidden depths and capabilities that they had grossly underestimated. General Psylov, his frustration mounting with each passing battle, could scarcely believe the level of ingenuity and adaptability displayed by the human soldiers. Their ability to nullify the Galactic Kingdom's technological advantages and devise innovative tactics to counter the invaders' strategies was a revelation that shook the general to his core. "These Earthlings," Psylov muttered, his brow furrowed in a mix of confusion and begrudging respect, "they are not the simple-minded creatures we believe them to be." The Emperor, watching the unfolding events from the distant Galactic capital, also found his long-held assumptions being challenged. The reports from the front lines painted a picture of a civilization that was far more complex and resilient than the Galactic Kingdom had ever imagined. As the war dragged on, with the Earthlings continuing to defy the invaders' might, certain members of the galactic elite began to question the wisdom of the entire endeavor. They recognized that the Earthlings possessed a value and potential that had been overlooked in the Empire's arrogance and dismissal of the pitiful planet. These dissenting voices, though initially few in number, began to gain traction within the halls of power. They argued that the Earthlings, with their remarkable adaptability and unbreakable spirit, could be valuable allies rather than mere subjects to be conquered. "We have underestimated these people," one of the Emperor's advisors admitted, his tone laced with a rare note of uncertainty. "Perhaps there is more to them than we have given credit for. To simply crush them would be a terrible waste." Clandestine negotiations and secret meetings began to take place, as certain factions within the Galactic Kingdom explored the possibility of forging an alliance with the Earthlings. The goal was to end the costly and seemingly endless conflict, while also harnessing the potential of the human civilization. On the other side of the war, some Earthlings also recognized the potential benefits of aligning with the Galactic Kingdom. They saw an opportunity to secure a future for their planet, even if it meant compromising their hard-won independence. These individuals, often highly placed within the human military and political leadership, began to reach out to the galactic forces, cautiously exploring the possibility of a peaceful resolution to the conflict. "We have fought bravely, and we have proven our worth," one Earthling negotiator argued. "Perhaps it is time to consider a new path, one where we can work together with the Galactic Kingdom, rather than continue this endless struggle." The discussions between the Earthlings and the galactic representatives were delicate and fraught with suspicion. Both sides were wary of the other's intentions, mindful of the long history of animosity and mistrust that had led to the current conflict. However, as the war continued to ravage the planet, and the human casualties mounted, the desire for a peaceful resolution began to outweigh the reservations of the more hardline factions on both sides. Slowly, tentative agreements and concessions were made, as the Earthlings and the Galactic Kingdom sought to find common ground and a path forward that would benefit both civilizations. The Emperor, his once unwavering confidence now tempered by a growing respect for the Earthlings' resilience, recognized the potential value of an alliance. He began to see the human world not as a pitiful backwater, but as a source of untapped potential and a possible partner in the Galactic Kingdom's continued expansion and prosperity. As the clandestine negotiations progressed, the two sides worked to overcome their differences and find a way to end the devastating conflict. The Earthlings, recognizing the might of the Galactic Kingdom, sought to secure the best possible terms for their planet, while the galactic representatives were increasingly willing to grant concessions in exchange for peace and the opportunity to harness the Earthlings' unique strengths. The fate of Earth hung in the balance as these high-stakes discussions unfolded, with both civilizations aware that the outcome could shape the future of the galaxy for generations to come. The war between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom had raged on for what felt like an eternity, with neither side willing to back down. The Earthlings, fueled by their unwavering spirit and determination to defend their home, continued to defy the invaders' overwhelming might. Meanwhile, the galactic forces, once so confident in their ability to crush the pitiful planet, found themselves increasingly frustrated and perplexed by the human defenders' resilience and adaptability. Their advanced technology and numerical superiority had repeatedly been challenged, shattering the arrogant assumptions that had underpinned the initial invasion. As the conflict dragged on, taking a heavy toll on both sides, a critical turning point emerged that would forever alter the course of the war. In a climactic battle that shook the very foundations of the planet, the Earthlings, with the help of some sympathetic elements within the Galactic Kingdom's own ranks, managed to inflict a decisive defeat on the invading armies. General Psyloth, his face etched with a mix of disbelief and grudging respect, watched helplessly as his forces were systematically dismantled by the human defenders. The Earthlings had not only neutralized the Galactic Kingdom's technological advantages, but had also outmaneuvered and outfought the seasoned invaders. Impossible, the general roared, his fists clenched in frustration. How can these primitive beings continue to defy us? But the Earthlings, their resolve unbroken, pressed their advantage, relentlessly hammering the galactic troops until they were forced to retreat. The tide of the war had turned, and the once certain victory of the Galactic Empire was now hanging by a thread. Shaken by the unexpected turn of events, the Emperor himself was forced to acknowledge the strength and resilience of the Earthlings. The reports from the front lines painted a grim picture, with the Galactic Kingdom's forces sustaining heavy casualties and struggling to maintain their foothold on the planet. "This cannot be," the Emperor muttered, his brow furrowed with a rare expression of uncertainty. "We were destined to conquer this backwater world, not be humbled by its people." Faced with the reality of their situation, the galactic leadership had no choice but to agree to a ceasefire and enter into peace negotiations with the Earthlings. The once arrogant invaders were now compelled to recognize the planet and its inhabitants as a force to be reckoned with, rather than a mere inconvenience to be swept aside. The peace talks that followed were arduous and fraught with tension, as both sides sought to protect their interests and secure the best possible outcome. The Earthlings, keenly aware of the sacrifices they had made to defend their home, demanded concessions and guarantees that would safeguard their sovereignty and independence. Meanwhile, the Galactic Kingdom, its pride wounded by the unexpected defeat, struggled to come to terms with the notion of granting the Pitiful planet and its people a seat at the table of galactic power. The Emperor and his advisors were forced to grapple with the realization that the Earthlings were no longer the insignificant, easily subjugated civilization they had once believed. As the negotiations progressed, with both sides making difficult compromises, a historic accord began to take shape. The Galactic Kingdom, recognizing the value and potential of the Earthlings, agreed to formally acknowledge the planet as a sovereign power and grant it a seat in the Galactic Council. This momentous decision marked a turning point in the long-standing conflict, as the balance of power shifted and the Galactic Empire was compelled to reconsider its stance towards the once pitiful Earth. The Earthlings, their spirit unbroken and their resolve strengthened by their hard-fought victory, emerged from the conflict with a newfound respect and recognition within the galactic community. Their resilience and ingenuity had shattered the Galactic Kingdom's arrogance, forever altering the perception of the pitiful planet and its people. As the historic agreement was finalized, a new era of cooperation and mutual understanding began to emerge between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom. The once bitter adversaries now stood as partners, ready to shape the destiny of the cosmos together. The turning point had been reached, and the Earthlings, once dismissed as insignificant, had proven their worth and earned their place among the stars. The arduous peace negotiations between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom had finally reached a historic conclusion. After months of intense discussions, filled with tension and compromise, the two civilizations had forged a landmark agreement that would reshape the future of the galaxy. The Galactic Kingdom, its once unquestioned dominance, now tempered by the unexpected resilience and strength of the Earthlings, had conceded to formally recognize the planet as a sovereign power and granted a seat in the Galactic Council. This was a humbling concession for the proud empire, but one that its leadership recognized as necessary to secure a lasting peace. For the Earthlings, the accord represented a hard-won victory, a testament to their determination to defend their freedom and independence. The sacrifices they had made during the conflict had earned them a place at the table of galactic power, a position they had never dreamed of attaining. As the details of the agreement were finalized, a palpable sense of cautious optimism began to permeate the relationship between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom. The once bitter adversaries now stood as uneasy partners, each side recognizing the value that the other could bring to the table. "This is an unprecedented moment in our history," the Galactic Emperor declared, his voice laced with a rare note of humility. "The Earthlings have proven their worth, and we would be foolish to continue to dismiss them as insignificant." The human representatives, led by the battle-hardened military commanders and skilled diplomats, approached the newfound partnership with a mix of guarded optimism and lingering distrust. They were keenly aware that the Galactic Kingdom had underestimated them once before, and they were determined not to be caught off guard again. "We have fought hard to earn our place here," one of the Earthling negotiators stated, her gaze unwavering. "And we will not hesitate to defend our interests and our independence, even as we work alongside the Galactic Kingdom." The terms of the accord were complex, involving concessions and guarantees from both sides. The Earthlings secured assurances of their sovereignty and the right to self-govern, while the Galactic Kingdom gained access to the planet's resources and technological advancements. Most significantly, Earth was granted a seat in the Galactic Council, a move that recognized the Earthlings as equals within the broader galactic community. This was a pivotal moment, as the pitiful planet that had once been so casually dismissed now stood as a respected partner, its voice carrying weight in the decisions that would shape the future of the cosmos. As the new era of cooperation began to unfold, both Earth and the Galactic Kingdom embarked on a journey of joint exploration, technological advancement, and cultural exchange. The Earthlings, their spirit bolstered by their hard-fought victory, eagerly embraced the opportunity to expand their reach beyond the confines of their homeworld. The Galactic Kingdom, for its part, found itself increasingly intrigued by the Earthlings' ingenuity and adaptability. The once arrogant empire recognized that by harnessing the human civilization's unique strengths, they could further strengthen their own position and secure a prosperous future for the galaxy. Slowly but surely, the decades-long animosity between the two civilizations began to give way to a tentative but growing sense of mutual understanding and respect. The Earthlings, no longer seen as pitiful or insignificant, earned the admiration of the Galactic Kingdom's leadership for their resilience and fighting spirit. In the years that followed, the partnership between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom blossomed, leading to unprecedented advancements in science, technology, and cultural exchange. The once bitter rivals now stood as equals, working together to shape the destiny of the cosmos. The pitiful planet that had once been so casually dismissed had proven its worth, forever shattering the Galactic Kingdom's arrogant assumptions. The Earthlings, with their unwavering determination and resourcefulness, had earned their place among the stars, forever altering the balance of power in the galaxy. As the new galactic order emerged, the once impossible dream of a united, prosperous future seemed within reach. The Earthlings, their spirit unbroken, stood ready to embrace the endless possibilities that lay before them, their once pitiful world now a beacon of hope and strength in the vast expanse of the cosmos. With the war between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom finally behind them, a new era of cooperation and mutual understanding began to unfold. The once bitter adversaries, now reluctant partners, embarked on a journey of joint exploration, technological advancement, and cultural exchange. The Earthlings, their spirit unbroken and their resilience tested by the trials of the conflict, were eager to embrace the opportunities that the new galactic order presented. They'd recognize that by working alongside the Galactic Kingdom, they could expand their reach beyond the confines of their home world and shape the destiny of the cosmos. For the Galactic Empire, the partnership with Earth represented a chance to harness the ingenuity and adaptability that the Earthlings had displayed during the war. The once arrogant empire, humbled by its unexpected defeat, now saw the value in collaborating with the pitiful planet and its people. "The Earthlings have proven their worth," the Galactic Emperor declared, his voice tinged with a rare note of respect. "Their resilience and resourcefulness are assets that we cannot afford to ignore." As the two civilizations embarked on their joint endeavors, the Earthlings found themselves embracing new technologies and exploring the vast expanse of the galaxy. They marveled at the wonders that the Galactic Kingdom had to offer, while also sharing their own unique perspectives and innovations. The Galactic Kingdom, in turn, was fascinated by the Earthlings' adaptability and problem-solving skills. They recognized that the human civilization's ability to overcome adversity and devise creative solutions could be a valuable asset in the ongoing exploration and colonization of new worlds. These Earthlings, one galactic commander mused, they do not simply accept defeat. They find a way to triumph, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Slowly but surely, the lingering distrust and suspicion that had once defined the relationship between the two civilizations began to give way to a growing sense of mutual respect and understanding. The Earthlings, no longer seen as pitiful or insignificant, earned the admiration of the Galactic Kingdom's leadership for their unwavering spirit and determination. In the years that followed, the partnership between Earth and the Galactic Kingdom blossomed, leading to unprecedented advancements in science, technology, and cultural exchange. The once bitter rivals now stood as equals, working together to push the boundaries of what was possible. Explorations of distant planets and the study of exotic celestial phenomena became the focus of joint ventures as the combined resources and expertise of the two civilizations unlocked new frontiers. The Earthlings, their thirst for knowledge and adventure unquenchable, eagerly embraced the opportunity to expand their understanding of the universe. Meanwhile, the Galactic Kingdom found itself increasingly reliant on the Earthlings' innovative problem-solving skills and their ability to adapt to new challenges. The once arrogant empire recognized that by harnessing the human civilization's unique strengths, they could further strengthen their own position and secure a prosperous future for the galaxy. As the decades passed, the pitiful planet that had once been so casually dismissed by the Galactic Kingdom became a beacon of hope and inspiration for the entire galactic community. The Earthlings, with their unwavering determination and resilience, had earned the respect and admiration of their former adversaries, forever altering the balance of power in the cosmos. The new galactic order that had emerged from the ashes of the conflict was one marked by cooperation, mutual understanding, and a shared vision for a brighter future. The Earthlings, their once impossible dream of standing alongside the greatest civilizations of the galaxy now a reality, embraced the endless possibilities that lay before them. From the bustling cities of Earth to the far-flung colonies and research outposts scattered across the cosmos, the Earthlings and the Galactic Kingdom worked in tandem, their partnership a testament to the transformative power of resilience, ingenuity, and the willingness to overcome long-standing prejudices. As the story of this momentous chapter in galactic history drew to a close, the Earthlings stood poised to shape the destiny of the cosmos, their once pitiful world now a shining example of the heights that can be achieved through determination, courage, and a refusal to be underestimated. The future, once shrouded in uncertainty, now glimmered with endless possibilities as the Earthlings and the Galactic Kingdom embarked on a new era of exploration, discovery, and the pursuit of knowledge that knew no bounds.